If I'm being perfectly honest, I could have used a little less love and more thunder. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, I'm going to be dishing out my thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder with some mild spoilers, of course, as you know, because this movie has already been out for a couple weeks in theaters, which had a significant drop-off in the second week. Apparently a 68% drop in the box office from its first week, which was already lower than projected. I gotta say, money-making MCU is not the mantra anymore, and, I think they really need to get their act together before they don't know what hit them. But anyway, guys, like I said, it's going to be some spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, go check it out if you want to check it out, and then come back here. But if you don't care about spoilers, let's talk Thor: Love and Thunder. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Thor, Odin's son, is back, this time in his fourth outing as a solo Avenger, and this time he is back in shape, and he is ready for loving. The only problem is I don't know who he's ready to love more, Mjolnir or Jane Foster as Thor. Meanwhile, the new big bad, Gorr the God Butcher, is on the horizon as he slews his way through a whole bunch of gods in the MC universe, according to Thor, and is on a collision course with Thor because he needs something that Thor has. Honestly, though, this film is definitely more of a comedic tone, and they really leaned into that more than the third film. And, I would say overall the film is good, but I did have some qualms with it, which I'm going to get into. So, in the film, we've got everybody returning. Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, we've got Taika Waititi coming back to direct, and of course, double duty as him voicing the voice of Korg. And of course, we have the return of Jane Foster, which was very unexpected. And then, of course, we have newcomer Christian Bale as Gorr the God Butcher, which I think was one of the highlights of this film for sure. As always, Christian Bale brings it to whatever role he's doing, even if he might have a little bit of crazy tendencies, as we know from different outbursts and stuff like that in the past. Not the point. But so let's get this out of the way right now. This film is hilarious. There is so many random things in there, and I'm sure it's because of how well the third Thor film, Thor Ragnarok, did with all the comedy and everything. And it's kind of weird how silly we've turned it into, almost to points, as my contemporaries on YouTube say, to parody levels and levels beyond meta at that point. So as far as this goes, that's one thing I can definitely say. This is the most comedic Thor has ever been. But is that really a good thing? And like I said in the intro, I could have used a little less love and a little bit more thunder, because there's certainly a little bit of lacking in terms of action and drama and depth and everything, especially when the film opens up where Thor is just being kind of a tool, and we're harping on him losing weight because he's such a freaking slob with a dad bod and everything. And then when he gets back in shape, he's still with the Guardians of the Galaxy, who were in here for about approximately 3 to 10 minutes at the very most. So they're not really big players inside of this film at all. They rescue a planet with the help of Thor, who does all the heavy lifting. He comes in and does some crazy shit. And at one point, he actually does the Van Damme slip between two crazy, freaking eagle-looking alien mofos trying to run him down. And that's where the lunacy started to come into this film, because it is extremely, extremely cartoony to that degree. So that being said, let's take a look with our heel vision. Alright, so right off the bat, in New Asgard, there's an ice cream shop called Infinity ice cream or whatever it is, and it's got a picture of the Infinity Gauntlet that Thanos used when he snapped half of the galaxy out of existence. Because that's what we want to do. We want to make it synonymous with this sort of megalomaniacal galaxy kind of tyrant and everything, who basically wiped out half of existence just because that's what sells ice cream in New Asgard. Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is doing ads for freaking Old Spice and stuff, which I'm like, what? Although, I do like that they brought back Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth's younger brother, who played their playwright versions, as it were, which, again, those scenes were hilarious, and it was a funny scene. Zeus! Like, again, my contemporaries are pointing out, and I fully agree, they've made Thor a total and complete f***ing dumbass. He's a dribbling idiot because his old ex all of a sudden comes out of nowhere with his old hammer, and he's got feelings for the hammer, and there's a love triangle between him, Stormbreaker, and the hammer, and then somehow they just gotta sneak in there that Thor whispers to Mjolnir and says, protect her always, or some shit like that, and that somehow relates to her becoming Thor in this film, which, funny enough, I thought it was a great plot point that they actually outline how the powers do not protect her, the powers do not save her. It definitely works in this film for sure. It's one of the many highlights of the film in terms of dramatic, serious kind of tones and everything, but it's just like head-scratchingly silly at times. And it's kind of funny, though, now that I think about it, I wonder why all the other mainstays have kind of stopped with their films. Well, not all the others, but Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America, they quit when they did. Chris Evans, that is. I wonder if they had quit because they would have become the laughingstock of the MCU, much like Thor is becoming now. With the success of Thor 3 and how it took more of a comedic turn, they really dove into the deep end in this one, and it does work sometimes, and then it doesn't work sometimes. I don't know. Maybe I sound like I'm a little bit bitter, which I kind of am, because, the MCU isn't what it used to be. And this film is definitely one of those things where you're taking a character that we really love and is established and one of the OGs, and it almost feels like you're doing him dirty to a certain degree because he's getting upstaged at certain points in his own film. And then it's very uncharacteristic, I must say, or just kind of haphazardly written or delivered, where Thor makes it to the end, they lose, essentially. They somehow convince Gorr to use love and wish his daughter back instead of wishing for all the gods to be destroyed. And then because Jane Foster dies, and so does Gorr, Thor decides to be Uncle Thor, or Daddy Thor, to Gorr's daughter, who died at the beginning of the film and was resurrected just now. Because that makes a whole lot of sense. But, funny enough, it's actually Chris Hemsworth's daughter who plays that character in real life, so I think that this is definitely kind of a cutesy moment almost, and the ending is a little bit, I don't know, it's just weird. And I kind of feel like they're planting seeds, obviously, to do a Young Avengers film at some point, because with Miss Marvel, this girl right here, Spider-Man, the new Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Shang-Chi, and a couple other people that they're throwing in the mix, I feel like it's going to happen eventually, and, hopefully Marvel sticks to the landing, but with the shows kind of being a little bit lackluster, and their visual effects team kind of dropping like flies, or not really paying attention to certain things that are popping up in different articles on social media, makes you wonder how long the MCU will stay on top. But anyway, Thor, Love and Thunder, 3 out of 5 stars, silly, fun, popcorn, one-shot humor. Don't get your hopes up if you wanted to see Guardians of the Galaxy in this, because they did not appear except for like 5-10 minutes at the most. Other than that, if you're going in for something that you can turn your brain off and want to have a silly good time with, this is the movie for you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you watched to the end, I appreciate it. All your love and support. Like, comment, subscribe if you dug the video. And if you are subbed, hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But until next time, guys, as always, I'm Jay. So take care. And bye-bye.